Good evening. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. I actually used one of my old tunes. Anyway, Jay, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Doing
Good,
so
good.
great.
I want to talk. Um, I've been talking about mental health all evening, and it's so difficult, isn't it, with mental health when when people are suffering with depression or kind of like they're feeling suicidal and this. Do you think there's a lot around for people to get help?
Yeah, I mean, there's many things that we need. It's not like I said before, a couple of like the podcast before a month ago, which I said like right now we starting to pick up, especially mental health overall, especially in this country, United States. There's a lot of so a lot of mental health going. It's a lot of mental health issues going on. Especially where most of the homeless people right here in this country has a lot of mental illness.
Mm.
So it's a big it's an epidemic actually, and we're starting to see that implemented in bigger inner cities, and we're basically starting to see that. And this is not something new. This has been happening even before when also the veterans from other countries that fought wars, they had PTSDs, and they had mental health, and they ended to be homeless as well, in which they had no other help as well. So it just it's so many things, man. But we're now little by little we're starting to pick up with a lot of these issues that we're seeing. So I mean, let's hope this will catch it up, and we'll get everybody has the services of with therapy.
The trouble is, so Jay, the trouble is, where you are, and I'm not trying to be funny, but there is not a lot. Do you think the government's doing a lot to look after our the veterans over there?
No, they didn't do anything. They don't. I'll be honest with you.
How
Most
can you leave veterans on the street homeless when
Yeah,
they fought for
it's
your country?
exactly, and that's one thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about because I'm not a veteran myself. But I know there's a lot of veterans that come back from the war, and they deal with PTSD. That's one thing like I said, I don't agree with the wars, but I feel like they actually do need help. They need services. You know what I mean? And especially with people of color, they don't who are veterans, they don't get the same benefits as people that they usually have. They don't have any more benefits. They just especially illegal immigrants, they tell them to go fight a war, they get a citizenship, they end up getting deported when they come back home. So that's just crazy that that we're dealing with. So and people don't want to talk about that. And yeah, I mean, even with people in Vietnam, when people came from Vietnam, a lot of these veterans, they've been forgotten.
Mm.
And so until this day is like that. So it's really disgusting how this government don't take care of its own veterans.
Why is that? Why is that? Why don't they do that? Because surely for their own mental health, it's serious, isn't it?
No, definitely it's serious because a lot of them they don't have the mental capacity to help them out. They just don't. It's really sad because a lot of them usually go they end up being suicidal. Um, I remember like I said, I mentioned before to you, I'm not sure. But I remember when I was working at AT&T one time, and a veteran came up to me, and he was actually pretty messed up, and he had to take 15 pills a day. He was really like, I felt like he was looked like an addict, and it's really sad, because I told him like, why don't you take any alternative, like let's try something, any alternative like marijuana instead of, sometimes marijuana helps with the pain reliever or anything. He says that he can't do it because they will take away his benefits if you try medical marijuana. I don't know how it is right now, how different it is, but that's how I think like a couple of years ago he told me that he can't do it. So I'm just like that's really sucked because I know a lot of these veterans need different type of therapy, different alternative medicine, you know, but it's sad. So
Because you
But as
think
long
that
as
you think the U.S. government would look after their veterans because what they've been through, the war and everything else, what's going on. Probably Vietnam was a really, really, really bad one. Then you
yeah.
got, then all of a sudden you had, like Afghanistan, and it's crazy, man, how people are treated like this.
Yeah, yeah, they honestly, like I said before, there's just money. This war just only to make big profits only at the end of the day. They don't care about, they're just pawns at the end of the day, fighting for a rich man's war, basically. And that's what it all comes down to. They just don't care about the people, what they
Yeah,
get the benefits. Yeah, they usually get free college, but at that price, you want to pay free college to put your life on the line?
I
It
won't be
doesn't
like,
make any sense, or anything like, or get like a zero down payment on a house. It doesn't make any sense to me, just to put your life on the line just to get these type of benefits. So it's sickening to me.
yeah, yeah. With um like anybody's mental health these days. What's it like in the USA with like mental health? Is it lack of it, lack of the help, or is it not enough? What would you change if you were in charge, say?
Um, I'm glad that a lot of people my age, like millennials, are picking up now about mental health. We're bringing more awareness now, because a lot of my age bracket suffers to a lot of, I think most half of them have some type of mental illness. Um, I know I think there's a YouTuber in California who's trying to run for governor in California. I think he wants to mandate, put the National Guards and help out um, the homelessness in California, because it's just so crazy in California. There's so much that he wants to implement and help out the homelessness, and he also wants to put a center for mental illness, like for therapy, give them 3 times meals a day, shower, in a home too as well. So, and he's also really big on mental health. That's what he told me. He's basically really big, because I know homeless people really deal with a lot of mental health. So he said he'll provide therapy, mental therapy for homelessness. And I'm actually glad, because not just only, I feel like a lot of people, I think another candidate was talking about mental health, but it's just so many that from my age bracket, that they're trying to bring more awareness and trying to bring more programs. And but I feel like if we need to change that, we need to have universal health care, because usually to cover in our country, basically United States, you gotta pay for your healthcare, and it's not easy to for therapy. You gotta pay each sessions. They're like seven. It could go to 50 to 100 $200 a session just to get help. So it's just different how it is in the United States. Oh, I know in England guys have universal health care, but over here people who can afford it, they can't find a way to get help with mental illness.
Yeah. Why don't you think why don't men like talking about mental health?
Yeah, like the same thing. But I feel like people don't like to talk about it, because I feel like they don't want to look as weak. Um, they don't want to look at themselves as, usually they hide that persona and see, like, oh, I don't want to look myself as weak. Then people are gonna be thinking, like, looking at him, oh, you guys are weak and this and that. But no, that's not how it is. You need to be transparent with yourself, and also be transparent with your loved ones, and be like, look, this is what I'm dealing with. So, and you can't you know, just take it all alone, and hide the pain, or basically dealing with alcohol or drugs or anything else. You just can't mask that, because I feel like that's like a self-destructive behavior that you're gonna be upon that. But I
Yeah.
feel like men has a big ego problem. Big men's have egos like that, they don't want to show out their weaknesses, and that's not how it goes.
Yeah. The trouble is, though, there's a lot of stigma out there too about mental health.
Stigma, definitely. Yeah, the stigma as well. Yeah, that's part of it as well. the stigma. They just don't want to look themselves as weak. That's one thing that men don't like to look as. But it's that's not how it is. And I'm glad because people are really bringing awareness, and now they're opening up. And so now I'm actually glad that people are waking up to it, and and dealing with the problem.
Yeah. Do you think depression is different for men?
Yeah, I mean depression. You don't even know if somebody has depression. You don't even know. Somebody could just be you think you're doing it. You think they're doing fine, but you don't know when they have depression. Men they could mask it well as well. Not just only men, but even women as well. They could just mask it. They could be happy, laughing, but at the end of the day, they probably definitely have depression. You never know. They just put that persona, and they just deal with their lives. But yeah, and depression never has a face. You can never know who has depression.
Mm. How about suicide in men? How do you look on that?
Yeah, the suicide in men, it's actually yeah. I think most the in suicide is in white men actually, in the United States. The majority of the suicidal is in white men, and that's one thing that white men who are blue collar worker white men who deal with this, and I think they should fix the problem with that as well because it's something that is dealing with probably to many different things. Also with drug abuse as well. There's many this country is really is plagued with drugs, and that could be part of the problem as well too. So I feel like there's so many factors to this. That why they deal with definitely deal with a lot of suicidal. The suicide is rate is crazy right now.
Well, in the US, it's got in 20 sorry in 2020. Was sorry, I lost it. Oh yeah, in 2020, um, 26,000 people could committed suicide or attempted suicide in the US. How about that?
Hmm.
What do you think about that?
I feel like I feel like honestly, I feel like it's getting worse and worse with mental illness right now. I think there was a time like a couple of years ago that America was really bad. There was a lot of suicidal. Also with drugs as well. I think people just take their overdose on drugs that they end up killing themselves for that. That's one problem that the United States they don't deal with it honestly, and that's sad because they don't really tackle the issue. Usually we tackle when there's like a like for example like car accidents. We have laws, we have this and that. In order to follow those laws and lower the mortality rate. Also with type of diseases they tackle, we have different campaigns, we have different fundings for that. But when it comes to suicide or any mental health, there's not much of it actually.
Mm.
We don't tackle with that, and that's why we're still into this to this day is there's still this problem. We're getting there, but not to the extent that we're looking for.
Mm. Yeah. What would what do you if you kind of like went into your government now? You walk through the door and they said to you, "Right, Jay, what would you change right now about mental health, and what changes would you like to see?"
So yeah, what I would definitely do, if I was like president or governor or whatever it is, I'll definitely put myself in a state of emergency. I feel like there's a lot of emergencies in this country that we deal with homelessness, we deal with mental health. I will definitely, I will definitely fight for Medicare for all for everybody because I feel like Medicare for all that will actually open up a lot of therapy sessions for people that don't have money for it as well. That's one thing I would definitely do. Medicare for all. Definitely, I would start opening up more facilities for mental therapy. Definitely drug counseling, alcohol abuse counseling. Different types of degrees I will put in there. and put a stop to homelessness as well. I'll do basically like a radical change if I was a government or president in order to for the people to benefit, because that's one thing that's a big emergency. It's a big emergency right now.
Yeah.
But I will definitely do a national emergency on that.
Yeah. Well done. Well done. Okay, Jay. Thank you very much for joining me tonight.
No problem. All right.
All right.
I'm actually glad I helped to talk to you about this. I'm really big into this right now as well. With mental health, I know you guys. I know this channel is more into mental health, and I'm hoping people get to know from the other side of the pond.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah. We
perspective.
love we love having you on, Jay. We get a lot of people kind of like asking about you, so that's why we keep contacting you.
No,
So,
definitely, of course. I appreciate
so
the people out there as well.
yeah.
Thank you.
So what we'll do, we'll get Jay back, don't worry, guys, and we'll talk about more mental health and what's happening over there, because we always like to know what's happening in the United States anyway. Jay,
No
thank you very
problem.
much for joining me, and thank you.
No problem. Have a good day. I appreciate you.
And I hope Brazil wins.
Oh, I hope not.
Thank you, mate. Bye bye.
No problem. Take care.